It first happened when I was 9, then again when I was 12, and through the rest of my teens. My parents didn't believe my story. They said I made it all up. There is no way your uncle could commit such a thing. You are spoiled. You are a spoiled child to speak so ill of him. So they said. Now I'm 29, still having nightmares of my wicked uncle molesting me. I'm still petrified of a man's touch. Whilst my parents are pressuring me to marry, I am more petrified of intimacy than I am of death. All I see is my uncle's sadistic face when I try to let a good man in. I want to understand why he took away my innocence. Why would he do this to me? We are supposed to be family. Oh.
Good afternoon, and thank you once again for tuning in. My name is Iretiola Doyle, and it is with a deep sense of responsibility that I welcome you to another edition of the talk show where we dare to speak the unspoken. Now, if you're tuning in for the very first time, this is a talk show brought to you courtesy of the Ben Bruce Foundation, and it is designed to examine, promote, and pursue issues that are related to the female gender. And over the last 2 editions, we have started with the very delicate issue of rape and sexual abuse. Now, over the last 2 editions of the show, we've spoken about this this issue, this problem that seems to be overtaking our society in very abstract and theoretical terms. Today, we will bring you face to face with the harsh reality of rape. So, you can join in on our conversation on all our social media sites, the addresses which will be shown on our screen intermittently. Don't go away. After the break, the show continues.
5 years old, when he touched me the ways I could not understand. It was so painful. I couldn't tell Mama or Papa, yet I cried, and I hid from him, but he found me. He had me whenever he wanted, until I was 15, when I went to boarding house. I am a wounded soul.
We were drunk and high. She walked by us. We grabbed her, pushed her to the corner. Turn by turn, we had her, devoured her and robbed her of her innocence. And we were proud of ourselves and our conquest. Years gone by, my heart is filled with guilt. I have deeply, deeply hurt another.
Join Silverbet Television every Saturday by 3 p.m. as Unspoken puts a fight against rape and other domestic violence against women. Join our social media hub. Join the conversation on Twitter. Only on STV. Unspoken. Show up, come out, and speak out. This program is brought to you by the Ben Bruce Foundation in partnership with the Lagos State Ministry of Justice and the Mirabel Center.
Now, we know that rape and sexual assault is probably the most debilitating and intimate crime that can be committed against another individual. And the only thing worse than that in itself is when it is committed against an innocent child who cannot defend itself. Legally, it is known as defilement. Up next, we will be showing you a true life story of an interview of a 5-year-old baby who was defiled by an uncle, no less. Now, some of the content will most definitely be disturbing. If you have young children watching, parental guidance is advised. We have that interview for you now.
Last 2 months, my daughter liked to go to my sister's place. This time they have holidays. I took her to my sister as pleasure. So she been staying there with my sister. So there was a time I went there. When she saw me, she started crying. Instead of her to come and greet me, I said, what happened? Why are you not coming to hug your mommy? She said, mommy, come. She was dragging my hand into my sister's bedroom. I was thinking maybe she wanted to complain that my sister beat her. So I said, wait, you want to come with me? She said yes. I said, okay, go and bring your bag. She now went inside and bring her bag. She said, mommy, wait, I want to tell you something. I said, okay, come, what happened? She said, mommy, brother Daniel. I shocked. I said, what happened to brother Daniel? She said, mommy, as my auntie wanted to go out and buy something for me, she told me to lock door, I should not go anywhere. She put cartoon for her to watch. Say she lock the door, she should not go anywhere, that she wants to go and buy something. She was sitting down watching the cartoon. So small time brother Daniel came. After brother Daniel came now, she said she knocked at the door. She opened door for brother Daniel. Brother Daniel entered inside. She looked inside the house, there was nobody, it's only her. That's how she forced her, fall down on top of the chair. She opened her skirt. She bring out her PPP because he used to call PPP. So when she bring out her PPP, she now be choking it in her bum bum. So I was shocked. I rush and open her skirt. I pull her pant. I see a lot of injury that she tear the girl. So I saw I was angry. I rushed inside my sister's room. After my I pulled the cloth that she wear. I said, look at what happened. So my sister with her husband came and said, what is happening? How come? He said it's brother Daniel. Say when? Why don't you tell me? So my daughter said that no, he doesn't want to tell her because my mommy always asks me, anybody that puts hand in your bum bum should let me know. That is why I keep it until my mommy came. I noticed when I wanted to exert him, how I feel the pain. Talking of a little child like this and a old man like him. There is one mopo that I know. I called that mopo, I explained everything to him. The mopo was shocked. It's okay that he will visit me when once in first thing tomorrow morning. So that is how the man trusted me. When the man saw the wound, he was very shocked. The man took me to the police station at Ileko there. So we did the report. So they now take my daughter to hospital at Ikeda. So that is how they treat her. The man helped me to arrest Daniel. That's how we took him to Ileko police station. They put it in cell. So they now charged the case to Panti. So after then, they took the case to court. So the case is coming out 1st June.
They said I will follow, I said yes. And I will follow. But said what I will follow and go at home. I said yes. And then I said okay, I should stay inside. That I should not go anywhere. That I should not attend, but I should come inside. Now lock the door. She now said that you should come, you should buy mango for me too. Now she put it down there. No, come inside. Come inside. And I do like say I'm sleeping. And I said, and I opened the door for him. And I've been watching cartoon again. Now come and sit down. Now come and drop me for the shot. I'm sitting down. Now father. And now put my skirt. Now put the paper in my bum.
Rape is a crime. If you have been raped, sexually abused or defiled, it is not your fault. You are not to blame. Please immediately go to the Rape Treatment Center, Mirabel Center, for free medical and counseling services, or please go to the nearest medical facility to you. Alternatively, please call the following toll-free lines currently displayed on the screen for further assistance. And to the criminals and perpetrators out there, be aware of the consequences of your actions. In Lagos State, rape and defilement convictions can lead to life imprisonment, and we will ensure that justice is served. Remember, rape is a crime.
This message is brought to you by
I would like to repeat, rape is a crime. that attracts severe convictions going as far as life imprisonment. Yes, that was a very upsetting interview to watch, both as a mother and as a woman. I have with me in the studio this afternoon our guest. She is a managing partner of Partnership for Justice, which is an NGO that deals with victims of rape and sexual abuse. She is also the founder of Mirabel Center, which is an outpatient outreach situated in Lasu. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Ituro Eze Anaba. Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you so much. I can see you're just as disturbed as I am, but we will try and plow through this interview. Okay. And my question as a mother, as a woman is, you know, that didn't sound like an irresponsible parent to me. That sounded like a woman who was doing what she had to do to keep it all together. So permit the assumption, maybe she has to work, and that's why she needs to drop her child somewhere. What more can we do? And you can see from the interview that that child, she had schooled her child to look out for certain signs, and immediately these signs rear their heads. You tell me, which is what the child did. What else can we do to protect our children? Because more often than not, they're assaulted by family members and people we know. What do we do? How do we cope with this situation?
Well, the first thing is we need to let the girl child know, as that woman did, that it's not strangers that you need to be afraid of when it comes to sexual abuse. It's mostly people that they know. And like she taught her daughter, tell me when it happens. If anybody touches you here, let me know. But in addition to that, we need to help our children to be aware of dangerous situations.
Like being alone in a room.
Like being alone in a room.
Thank you.
With a cousin, with an uncle.
With any adult male.
Yeah, with any adult male, unsupervised, you know. And in addition to that, we need to let our children know that it's not all that glitters is gold. We need to be aware of the fact that perpetrators groom young ones.
What are some of the, in practice, give me an example of what you describe as a perpetrator grooming potential victims.
There are probably maybe 5 to 6 children in the environment, and he picks on one, buys sweets for her, calls her my wife, even though obviously she cannot be his wife, sends her on errands, begins to give her special attention. Then you need to be, you know, cautious. You need to be on the lookout. And at times, he might just volunteer to babysit. A man that volunteers to babysit most of the time, or does not give a child privacy. Maybe you're in the home with your husband, or your cousin, your uncle, and he doesn't give a child privacy. He singles out that child, you know, and he's always in the midst of children, and he's not with his age mates. You need to be, you know, to look at that kind of brother again. Exactly, you need to look at that situation again. And where it does happen that your child is a survival, then you need to begin to look at what are the changes in her.
Painful as it is to do so, let's look at the 5-year-old child who spoke, who was giving back, from what I could hear, details just as innocently as she would tell you, oh, I went to school today and they taught me maths and they taught me this and they taught me that. Is that a normal reaction post-trauma for a child that age, from what you've seen? Or are there other, is this like some sort of denial for the child?
No,
how do we rehabilitate?
The child will always be a child. She's not in denial. Because, for instance, we had a 4-year-old that whose class teacher inserted a spoon into her vagina. She was singing it. She told everybody the story. You know, so for a child, the child is never in denial because she will talk about it. A child would only keep quiet when she's threatened. Because at times the perpetrator will say, if you say anything, your mother will die. If you say anything, your sister will die. Or if you say anything, you're going to die. We've had that kind of situation when the incident was discovered, the child was so happy Why was she happy? Because she discovered that when her mother got to know, her mother didn't die. Her father didn't die, as she was, as the perpetrator had told her.
Led her to believe.
Yes, had led her to believe. So in that instance, she felt very free and she could tell her story. So there's always the issue of threats, where a child is threatened.
How do we deal with this issue? We know the signs. We teach our children. We give them the tools. We try to minimize as much as we can putting them in threatening situations. I mean, the world is a dangerous place. What else can we do? Because what we're painting, or the reality of what we're seeing, is a very, very scary situation.
It is.
Who do you trust? Especially now that both parents have to work.
Yeah. One of our doctors said you must have a high index of suspicion. Suspects. Be on the lookout. Support the survival. Because if we have instances where mothers beat up the survivors, adding pain to what she had gone through.
Beating them up for what reason? Blaming them for what happened?
Blaming them for what happened. Why did you go there? I told you not to go there. Why did you go there? Why were you playing outside? So the child is blamed. And when you get to know that there's something wrong, talk about it.
All right, let's talk about talking about it. You run the Mirabel Center. For people watching at home, and we say this every edition of the show, if you have been sexually assaulted, if you have been raped, you don't know what to do, how to go, who to talk to, you're watching the right show. Call us on our hotline and pay close attention to what Mrs. Ito is about to share with us. What is the Mirabel Center in a few short sentences?
The Mirabel Center is a sexual assault referral center. We provide free counseling and medical services.
So you're like the point of first contact. If someone is sexually assaulted, yours is the first place.
That's the first place to go, because your health is very important. And at times you might think you need to go to the police. That's fine. But you need to understand that your health is the most important one. And there might be some delay between when you get to the police and when action is taken. There's need to take evidence. There's need to record whatever happened.
Okay, so talk us through a step-by-step.
What happens when a client comes to the center?
A victim walks through the doors of the Mirabel Center, what happens?
What happens? Okay, we call them clients because we think calling them victims is not empowering.
It's like raping them twice over.
Exactly. So we call them clients, and that means they have some level of power. They can negotiate, they can talk to us. So a client, we have referral from the police, from other sources, and then you can also walk in. Now, once you walk in through the door, our counselor meets you. She is your case manager. She takes down the details of what happened, but before she does that, she has to tell you what services are provided at the center. You have to give your consent.
Okay.
That is very important for us.
Meaning you will sign a form.
You fill the form, you sign it.
But all this information is confidential.
Oh, that's the core principle of the Mirabel Center. It's confidential. In fact, it's only the case manager that knows what has happened.
Okay.
So you give your consent, you talk to the counselor, you know, she's all yours. If you want to talk for 2 minutes, you talk for 2 minutes. If you want to rest for 30 minutes, you rest. Anyhow you want to do it, it's at your own pace. We don't hurry up. Okay. If you say you're not talking today, you'll talk when the next time you come in. That is fine with us.
Let's assume you get someone who is willing to talk, who wants to get this over and done with. Do you then proceed to taking medical evidence?
We have in-house doctors,
okay,
right there, trained forensic medical examiners. So once the counselor is done, she calls the medical doctor that is on call and says, we have a client. And then she goes over to the medical room. Once she goes there, what is going to be done will be explained to her again.
Okay.
Head-to-toe medical examination, and she has to give her consent.
All right, and that's all done. You have the medical information. She's willing to testify. She wants to file a report. Do you also provide those kind of services, like some sort of legal advice, or take her through the steps?
Oh yes,
how to go about pressing charges?
Definitely. We tell you if you want to report to the police, we're there for you. If you don't want to make the report today, that's up to you. But we give you the options, available options. We let you know the consequences of your actions. If you say you're not going to the police today, you might want to go tomorrow. So let's just take the medical report examination. And we give the police, the court, whoever has, we give them the medical report.
Okay.
So the medical report is out within 24 hours.
Okay.
And that helps.
And do you also stand as witnesses?
Oh, yes.
In the event that the case goes to court?
Definitely. Our doctors are trained.
Okay. To testify.
To testify.
So your services go all the way from first contact all the way to prosecution and rehabilitation.
For as long as you want us, we'll be there with you.
I have taken you through these paces because we don't know who is listening and who might need this information and who needs to be encouraged.
Very true.
Knowing that help is just a few steps away. How does one find you?
The Mirabel Center is located at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital. Once you walk right from the gate, you ask for the Mirabel Center, they will direct you to where it is.
Is it open 24 hours?
It is open 5 days of the week. During the weekends, we open from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Public holidays, we also open. So it's open every day. The only difference is that during the weekends and public holidays, the hours are shorter. But during the week, we open from 9 to 5.
And your victims, your clients,
clients,
I beg your pardon, go from, would you take up the case of a 5-year-old? This is one of your cases.
This is one of our cases. Our youngest client is 18 months old.
Oh my word.
1 year and 6 months.
Did you find the perpetrator?
The perpetrator was found. The police is still handling his case. And the oldest is 70 years old.
The older, there's a 70-year-old perpetrator?
No, client. Yeah.
Male or female?
Female client.
Assaulted by someone younger or older?
Someone younger. Her son's tenant assaulted her. And we've had boys. We've had 16. We've had 16 boys that were raped by men. So it's not a case of rape is for women, rape is for girls.
All right, I need a bit of sunshine right this second. The perpetrator who assaulted that 5-year-old, I am told, is currently...
The case is still being investigated by the police. So,
but he's in custody as we speak?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What is your what is the success rate of persecuting offenders? Is Nigeria judiciary, do they make it easy to persecute the cases to its logical conclusion and have these perpetrators serve time?
I think 2 weeks ago that question was thrown to me, and I said that that is a question that the Ministry of Justice and the judiciary should actually respond to. But that notwithstanding, there have been successes in different ways. For instance, in Lagos State, we now have police stations with trained officers that know how to deal with survivors of rape and sexual assault. These, they have what they call the family support unit, and these officers are in plain clothes. So they know what to do, unlike what happened previously where you go to the counter, you tell your story, you tell it all over and over and over again, and then the perpetrator sits with you and intimidates you. It doesn't happen in many police stations anymore. So that's an achievement
that gives me joy. So it's like, is it safe to say that society's perception is beginning to change gradually?
It's beginning to change. It's very minimal. It's difficult to detect. But if you watch out, if you listen to people, you know that it's beginning to change. We have police officers that are committed, that are passionate about this, this issue. 2 days ago, I got a call from DPO, I think Ikorodu. He was telling me he has a client he needs. So they're beginning to be aware of it. Okay. Now, we also have the judiciary, the family courts. They're very excited about the Mirabel Center because the Mirabel Center prepares the clients for the judiciary, what to expect from the police station as well as the court. So if it's going to take 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, we prepare you and let you know, look, for as long as you're ready, we're right there with you. So that's another change. And then the Lagos State also has what is called the Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Response Team. That you can't find at any other state in Nigeria. They're there to look at the challenges that survivors of rape and sexual assault face. So members of that team include Ministry of Justice, Office of Public Defender, Mirabel Center, NGOs that work with women, the police, all of them are there.
Have you ever had an indigent victim, someone who maybe will not be able to afford the legal fees? Do you bear that cost as well?
Well, interestingly, when it gets to the court, it becomes a state matter.
Okay, so the state is prosecuting.
Yeah, so the state prosecutes. So what we normally do is we can give you transportation costs to the court, but we've also spoken with the Ministry of Justice. The client is your witness. Okay. So you need to take care of your clients, which they do. You know.
Now this is an outreach, like counseling, not just all kinds of counseling, from medical to mental to emotional and all of that. And you have announced your address. It's not usually done when, you know, if it was a shelter, so to speak. So for victims who are actually under whose lives are being threatened, because we have we've seen extreme cases where you're still being threatened by your attacker. Are there shelters that you are affiliated to where they can run to for safety?
Oh yes, definitely. We have, even the government has a shelter that we work closely with, and where the government shelter is full, we have the shelters, reliable shelters that we work closely with. We had a situation where one of our clients got pregnant as a result of the rape, and she was willing to keep the pregnancy. We saw her through her pregnancy. She had a baby boy, and at the end of it all, she decided to go back east to her parents. We helped her locate her parents, and we sent her back home. We've had a situation where our client was determined to get justice, but the opinion leaders in the community felt she should forgive the perpetrator. Yeah, we get that a lot. You would not believe the people that call to say to forgive is divine. So this girl...
let's...
Yeah.
Is that playing the ostrich? Is that us not wanting to deal with the situation? Is that as a result of shame?
No, it's not as a result of shame.
Or we really believe what we say?
I think it's because they do not understand the impact on the child. They think it's been done, and I give you 100,000 and that's enough punishment. You know, but they forget that the perpetrator that goes free
will do it again.
Will do it again. For every child that is abused, every other child in that community is at risk. That's what they don't understand.
I would assume that another thing that prior to the show, we were having a conversation, and there was an example was set of, you know, a very sad incident of incest in the family.
We get that a lot.
Exactly. And don't you think shame, I think my question is, how much do we reveal, God forbid, at the expense of the child? Where do you draw the line? For instance, how do you protect that child from being stigmatized further down the line if it becomes a community? And this is just me playing the devil's advocate, because I believe that we need to remove the veil of silence. I believe that the more of us who speak up and speak out, we begin to shed light on these issues.
So how do we balance the need to speak out and
the need to protect the child from further stigmatization? Because it's a terrible thing to grow up with. You don't want to be that kid that is always pointed to and say, remember, so.
Yeah.
So how do you strike that balance?
One is that we need to accept the fact that it's happening. It's happening, and the impact on the child could be for life. So on the one side, we give the girl treatment. We let her go through the counseling. It's not just the girl, the family as a whole. Yeah. Fine, you want to protect that child, but at what expense? Do you now, because you want to protect that child, let the perpetrator go free? Because he's going to repeat it. He's going to do it to some other child. So there's no hard and fast rule about it. You need to weigh each case and see what is in the best interest of that child. For instance, we have cases where journalists come to us and say, you need to expose these people, we need to expose these people. We say, we need to protect our clients. So in that instance, we look at what is better for them at that point. Like the interview that was done, she was protected, her privacy was protected. So we really need to make sure that whatever happens, that child is in a bad place, and we have to make sure that she moves from that bad place to a
healthier place.
To a healthier place.
There's another kind of assault that's been going on, and it shocks me. We tend to shrug and walk away. You hear of these stories of girls who are accused of stealing in public places, who are now stripped naked, beaten, and assaulted. That is sexual assault in itself.
Yeah, that's assault, yes. You see, for as long as the community is in denial, those kind of abuses will continue. I always tell people, if this street, Amadou Bello here, says we will not condone this on this street, it will stop. So if we stand up and say, we do not condone, no,
this is bad.
This is bad. We don't want it in our community. It's unacceptable. And when it happens, we say, we do not say, probably.
Forgive. We pursue justice to its logical conclusion.
It.
All right. We always need to rush on this show, unfortunately. So I've been speaking with Mrs. Ituro Ezianaba, and she's the managing partner for justice. But more importantly, co-founder, is also the founder, I beg your pardon, of Mirable Center, which is a counseling center. Any kind of counseling that you may need.
And medical services.
And medical services.
And it's free.
There you go. It's absolutely free.
Everything.
The conversation does not end with this show. If you have been assaulted, you know someone who's going through it, who needs counseling, reach out to us on this show, and we will connect you to the people who can help you medically, mentally, legally, all the structures that you need to get through this. Once again, you can find us on all our social media sites. I believe that the address is currently showing on your screen. We're going to be here same time, same station next week. My name once again is Iretiola Doyle. See you then.